Good morning, Internet. This is Alex the Sudokus, and it is Monday, the 19th of October 2020, and we have another New York Times medium Sudoku for us today. So, we are going to try and do a normal walkthrough where I explain the slide notations. So, what we do in slide notations is we're only pencil marking numbers where we only have two candidates within a cage. And what I like to do is I like to go through the numbers from 1, counting up to 9. So I'll go through 1, 2, 3, and 4, etc. until I get to 9, and pencil marking where I can, if I can only see two candidates in a cage. And if I only have one number, then I actually place it in, obviously. And the reason I do that is because sometimes when you some people like to focus on a cage at a time, but by looking at the number at a time, what you sometimes do is you find kind of like hidden possibilities. Basically, you see hidden things. So let's see if we can demonstrate that today. So we've got two twos looking into this cage and another two twos looking into this cage. So whenever there are four numbers looking into a cage for me, I use the term cage to describe any grid with 9 cells. A cell is basically one of the individual cells that you can put a number in. A bit of Excel terminology from there, really. But yeah, if there are four numbers, two of them must be looking at two different columns and two of them must be looking at two different rows. So that would eliminate all but one cell within a cage, basically. That's my alarm going off. Okay, so we have another 2 over here because of that 2 and that 2. So now these 2's continue to allow us to place a pair of 2 pencil markings over here. So, and that's one of the advantages of staying with a single number at a time is you can see the chain reaction that placing a number can create, and that's always helpful. So in the last cage, we've only got 2 possible 2's, so all the 2's are now pencil marked in. So let's have a look at 3's. I have a pair of 3's there because of these 2 3's in the columns. And that's, oh no, I've got another, so I've got 3 possible 3's here, but I can't actually, I choose not to pencil mark them in because under slide notations, I want to keep it as clean as possible, basically. So this 3 doesn't interact with any other 3's in any meaningful ways. So let's look at 4's instead. So 4's, again, I can't see any cages with just 2 candidates with the 4, so I'm going to move on to 5's and put a 5 in there because of these 2 5's locking a 5 over there. So another thing I like to do is when I place a number, I like to follow it. So I got the number horizontally, but from the 5's horizontally, so I'm going to look vertically and see if it develops anything else. So this 5 and that 5 together develops a pointer pair of 5's. So what I like to do now is to use that pointer pair of 5's to look horizontally because I found it vertically. I'm going to look horizontally. So I mentioned that this is a pointer pair of 5's, and the basic logic is I've got 5's locked in the same row within the cage. Therefore, there can't be any of the same number on the same row within the entire grid, basically, because if there's a 5 in any of these cells, then I can't place a 5 in this cage anymore. So with that in mind, pointer pairs, basically, if they're lined up horizontally or vertically, they basically rule out the rest of the row or the column that they see, basically. So for instance, these 2 3's rules out the entire column, and these 2 5's rules out the entire row. So I've only got 2 possible 5's in this cage because of that 5 ruling out this row and these 2 5's ruling out that row. But if we look at this vertically, this 5 rules out this cell. So in this cage, the 5 has to be on column 6. So technically that's a pointed triple. So again, with a pointed triple, it rules out any of these cells as a 5. So I can eliminate that candidate and place a 5 here, basically. So, can I do anything else if I follow the same logic? There's sort of 5's that I can do, so let's have a look at 6. I've only got a single 6, and it doesn't do anything on its own, so that's unfortunate. So we'll move on to 7s. I have a pair of 7s there because these two 7 and that 7 over there. This 7 on its own locks another pair of 7s there, so that creates a pointer pair, and this pointer pair doesn't give me any further information. These two 7s don't give me anything. That 7 and that 7 doesn't give me anything, so I'm going to move on to 8s. So that 8 rules out those two cells, effectively creating a pointer triple. So that means the 8 must live in row 2 in this cage, but I've got an 8 down there, so I can place an 8. And this 8, since we've got it horizontally, look down vertically, I can place another pair of 8s down there because I've got an 8 in this cell. So that's kind of the end of the chain. So let's have a look at more 8s. So I have another 8 developing there because of these two 8s ruling out the columns and that 8 ruling out the row. So horizontally it forces another pair of 8s. So I think that's all I can do with the 8s. Let's move on to 9s. So I have a pair of 9s there because of these two 9s, but it doesn't do anything else right now. But these two 9s actually locks a 9 up here. So this is what Snyder notation is really useful for. When I place this 9, I've just erased a 2. And since under Snyder notation, we only place 2 candidates at a time within a cage. So if I erase one of the candidates, then I've effectively solved that number within that cage, because there's only one place left that the 2 can go. So I can place it. So that 2 erases another 2, so I can place another 2. So this 2 also erases a 2 over there, so suddenly all the 2s are done on this in this puzzle. So so we've done a full round of notations going from 1 to 9, and we're filling some numbers. What we can do now is do another round, because the board has changed a little bit. We've added some numbers here, so it will create additional constraints on where the numbers can go. But what I like to do is actually look at weak areas first, which is quite useful if you're developing into harder Sudokus. So what you do is you look at any rows, columns, or cages with 3 or less cells remaining, basically. Remaining being as you haven't actually placed any numbers. That includes, even if you've put pencil markings in, they still count as a weak area. So the weakest area we've got on this grid is here. I've only got 2 cells left on this row. So they happen to fall within the same cage as well. Those are particularly more powerful because they're more constraints, basically. So let's have a look at this. What are we looking for? We're looking on this row. We're missing a 4 and a 3, 3 and a 4. So since they're within the same cage as well, I can actually pencil mark in the 3s and 4s because they naturally fall in as a pair. So that's basically 2 pencil markings for 3s and 2 pencil markings for 4s. So with that, oh no, hold on, those aren't 3s. What am I talking about? There's a 3 here. So what am I actually looking for? 4s and 6s. Sorry about that. So 4s and 6s. So what this means is the other thing that's happening is the 4s and 6s are locked in the same 2 cells. So I know no other numbers can go in there. So this is the effect of matching pairs. They're called a matching pair. So in this case, I'll call it a 4-6 pair. And since no other numbers can go in them, within the cage, I've actually only got 4 numbers left. 4 cells left anyway. That's what I meant. Can I use that is what I'm curious about. Let's leave it for now because that's 4 numbers. I've got other weak areas to tackle, like I've got 3 numbers here, and 3 numbers there, and 3 numbers on this column. So let's look at a column first, because they're usually more productive. So what am I missing? I'm missing 3, 4, and 6. So that cell sees a 4, but not a 6. This cell sees a 3, but not a 4 or 6. So sorry, this can't see a 3 or 6. This can't see a 4 or 6. And this can't see any of the 3 numbers. So actually I can't solve this right now. What I can do though, I just noticed something. It's I have a 3 in this cell. So let's introduce another bit of logic. I was just scanning the 3, and that's how I came across the... I was looking at this cell, and I was looking for 3s, and I found, like, the pencil marking 3. So, okay. So if you look in this cage, the 3 can only go in rows 5 and 6. And in this cage, I've already pencil marked in the 3s, and again, they fall in rows 5 and 6. Well, that means in these 3 cages, I've only got 3s kind of available in rows 5 and 6 so far, but I have to have a 3 in row 4 as well. So the 3s can't go in these 2 cells, they have to go in one of these 2 cells. But I've already got a 3 looking into one of the cells anyway, so I know that the 3 goes there. And that basically erases the 9, so I can place another 9. So let's see if the 3 does anything else. Well, the 3 unlocks a pair of 3s over there, because I've got a 4-6 pair there, so the 3 can't go in there. And these 2 3s rules out these cells as well, so those are the only cells the 3s can go in. But that's all I can do. What about the 9? Could the 9 give anything additional information? Okay, so the 9 does give additional information, and what it's done is it's locked a 9 in these 3 cells. So we had a matching pair there before with the 4 and 6s. What we have now is a matching triple, shortened to just a triple basically. So the 9s, the 3 9s share the same cells as the 3s and 7s. So that means this cell here is on its own, because I've got a triple and a pair. That must be on its own. And what is it? It's a 1 basically. So 1 has to go in that cell. And on this column, I've only got one other cell left, and it's a 6. So let's put a 6 in. Another way of deducing this, I guess, is if I just look at this column, it has to be a 1 or a 6. But I've already got 6 ruled out within this cage. The 6 has to go in one of these 2 cells. So that's the other effect of matching pairs as well. When you've got a matching pair, they can't go anywhere else within the same cage, row, or column, depending on which direction they're pointing. So that's another way I could have deduced that that's a 1 or a 6. Oh, sorry, deduced that's a 1. So what does this 1 do? It forces a pair of 1s over here. There's nothing else down here. What about the 6? Well, the 6 locks a pair of 6s over here. And we've just formed another matching pair. So if these are 6 and 7s, that must be a 3. And now I've developed another weak area with 2 cells left in this column, and they are 6 and 4 again. So that's quite interesting. So let's have a look at this cage for a second. 4s can only go in these 2 cells. What else can go in there? 6 and 3s. So I don't have any additional constraints for the 3s and 6s, so I'm going to leave that alone for now. So what else can I do? What other weak areas have I got? I've got another pair of weak areas here. So these are 8s and 7s, but I've got 7 up here. So this has to be an 8, and that has to be a 7. So these 2 7s locks a pair of 7 down here, thanks to this 7. The 7's also locked in those cells because of the 4 and 6 pair ruling out these 2 cells. So what else did I place over here? I can't remember now. Oh yes, the 8. So the 8 is now, forcing a pair of 8s in there. And down here there are 3 possible places for the 8. So it's not super helpful. So these are for 3s and 7s. I can't deduce them yet. Okay, so I've got another triple in here. So what are these then? These are 1s, 1, 4, and 7. And interestingly, I can't see any of those digits at all. So, so under normal circumstances, I wouldn't pencil mark in anything that comes in a triple. But since there are only 3 possible numbers left within a cage, I find it's generally okay to pencil mark them in, because one of the purposes of Snyder notation is not to get too many pencil markings. So if you're doing this on pen and paper, it's not too overwhelming in terms of numbers, basically. So when you're down to 3 cells in a cage, it's not going to get too cluttered. So I think I am going to pencil mark these in. So what are these again? Hold on a sec. This is actually a 7 because I've got a pointed pair of 7s over there anyway, so I don't even need to pencil mark in all 3 digits. I can place a 7, and this 7 erases that 7, putting a 7 over here, which erased a 3, so that places another 3 there. So that 3 and that 3 forces a 3, oops, what was this before? A 2, wasn't it? So it forces a 3 over there and a 4 over here. So 3s are now locked in this cell because of that 3, and these 2 3s. So that erased an 8, so let's place the 8. And this 8 and that 8 together forces an 8 over here because 8 can't go in this cell. And this 8 just erased another pencil marking 8 and forced an 8 over there. So now all the 8s are done. And I've got a single cell left in that cage, and it has to be a 6. So this 6 unlocks the 7-6 pair because when you've got a matching pair and you see one of the numbers, it's automatically the opposite number because the two numbers are linked up basically. So on this column, I've only got 5 left. So what does 5 do? The 5 locks a pair of 5s over here. But a 5 can go in 2 possible cells over here. So why don't we have a look at these 2 cells? They are a pair of 1s and 9s, but I've got 9 down here, so 1 and 9 are resolvable. So that 9 also forces a 9 in one of these 2 cells, because I've got 9 sticking up the columns, but I've got 9 there, so this must be the 9. Erasing a 7, so the 7 is in the remaining cell. So incidentally, that's also a 7, because 4 and 6 are kind of like locked as a matching pair, so I only need to eliminate one of the cells. So that unlocks another 1. So this 1 and that 1 locks a 1 here, and now another 1 goes there, and another 1 goes here. So I love chain reactions going on. I should have only one left, so it's down there. And this 1 just erased a 3, so 3 goes there, and I think that's sort of 3s as well. So in this cage, there's only one number left, and it's a 4. So this 4 unlocks the 6 and 4 pair, and I've only got one number left in this cage anyway, so it is a 9. So let's pencil mark or place it. This 9 looking down forces the 9 in here, but I've already got 9 over there, so that erases the 5, unlocking another 5. So that 5 locks another 5 here, because these 2 5s rules out the 2 rows. This 5 unlocks another 5 over here, so that's sort of 5's done, leaving us a 4 in this cage. This 4 pushes a 4 over there and over here, and that 4 unlocks the 4 and 6 pair, and I've only got 6s left on the grid, and that's the medium New York Times Sudoku done today, so I hope that's helpful. If it is, please leave a like and subscribe, and I shall see you tomorrow. Bye!